All right. So getting comfortable lying down, you could put something underneath your head or something underneath your knees to support your hips and your low back. And just taking a moment, maybe just like wiggling a little bit, stretching, just kind of sensing all your limbs, sensing your spine, maybe opening and closing your mouth a few times, sensing your face and your jaw, and then just coming into stillness, letting your body rest on the ground. Take a big breath in through your nose and then exhale out of your mouth and really let your whole body relax. Take a few more breaths like that in through your nose and exhale out of your mouth, letting your body relax. Start with a little bit more breathing. So breathe, place your hands onto your belly. And as you place your hands onto your belly, just feel that connection between your palms and your belly. Maybe you notice if there's heat coming off your hands. Maybe your hands feel cool. And take a few deep breaths into your belly so that you can really feel your belly push up into your hands. Feel your breath moving through your low back, your pelvis. Bring your hands up to your rib cage. Send your breath into the middle of your abdomen so that you can really feel your ribs expand. Feel the breath move into your mid back. And bring your hands to your chest. Breathe into your chest, filling up your upper ribs, lungs, letting the breath move and nourish the shoulders, the upper spine, and even the neck. And bring your arms back down along your sides. And just breathe deeply into all these three parts, breathing into the belly and the ribs and the chest, letting everything expand and everything really soften and release. And then imagine that your inhale is also expanding all the way out into your extremities. So your inhale filling out through your hands, down through your feet, and up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, everything softens. And then start to add in, bring yourself into like a little bit of a starfish shape. So your legs are a little separated, your arms are a little bit out from your sides, just widening yourself a little bit in a comfortable way. And as you take a breath, as you breathe in and you're really feeling that expansion through your body, just see if you can kind of subtly reach through your limbs. What would it feel like if your limbs just were starting to get a little longer and then subtly reach the crown of your head? So everything getting bigger, wider. And as you exhale, really let everything soften. And it's like your limbs just relax, maybe even. It's almost like they shrink a little bit. And just keep that flow. So as you inhale, breathing in deeply and then feeling the subtle reaching out and expanding out through your limbs and your head. And then as you exhale, just relax and feel what it feels like for your body just to completely relax. Just keep going a few more rounds with this breath, exploring. Maybe your movement stays really subtle, like maybe that expansion stays really subtle, which would be fine. Or if you feel moved, you could also try exaggerating it even more. So, really stretching. And then maybe as you exhale, you even like curl your body in. You could try that out, or you could just stay with what you've been doing. But whatever you do, let it be comfortable. And then we'll just release that breath, that intention, and just come back to a natural rhythm of your breath. Keeping a consciously deep inhale and exhale. Checking in with yourself. How do you feel after doing some breathing? And then placing a hand on your body, maybe on your belly or your chest. And just taking a moment to find an intention for your practice today. Your intention can stem from what you might want to call in, what kind of quality you'd like to cultivate in yourself. Let it be simple, maybe one word, two words. We've been doing this the last couple classes, turning the intention into an affirmation. So, making an affirmation that is simple and um, in the present moment. So, if your intention is peace, then your affirmation would be I am peace. I breathe in peace, something like that. And then we'll just work with this intention, this affirmation that you've created for yourself. Do a few rounds. So, saying it silently to yourself, or if you prefer, you can say it out loud. You are muted, um, but we'll do it with the breath. So, if my affirmation is I am peace, then I would inhale, I am, and I would exhale, peace, linking the affirmation with the breath. So, practicing your affirmation for a few rounds, even if it feels like that quality is like super distant from you right now. Maybe you feel like the very opposite of your affirmation, and sometimes it can almost feel silly or like you're making something up by practicing an affirmation, but just let it be. Imagination is powerful. Noticing as you say this affirmation to yourself, what does that quality feel like in your body? Do you feel that kind of biochemical reaction in your cells and your muscles? Does your body feel different as you say this affirmation? And then we'll release this affirmation. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just start to draw your knees into your chest. And give yourself a rock from side to side. Place your hands on your knees and make some circles. And in the other direction. Draw your left knee into your chest and extend your right leg onto the floor. And breathe some space into the front of your right hip. And then switch, drawing your right knee into your chest, extend your left leg. Breathe into the front of your left hip. Relax your head and your neck and your shoulders. And then extend this right leg onto the floor. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice long stretch. And then bending your knees and lengthening your legs up to the sky, and your arms reach up to the sky. And just start to rotate your wrists and your ankles. And rotate in the other direction. And point and flex your feet and your hands. So you're flexing and extending your ankles and your wrists. And give your limbs a little shake. Flutter your lips a few times. And then draw your knees back into your chest. Give your legs one more little hug in. And then place your feet down onto the ground. And as you exhale, tilt your pelvis back, pressing your low back towards the ground, grounding your low back. And as you inhale, tilt your pelvis forward, gently starting to arch your low back. If you feel any discomfort in the arch, do less. And then as you exhale, tilt your pelvis back, rounding your low back towards the ground. And just continue to rock your pelvis forward and back. Keep relaxing through your head. Feeling the movement of your hips and how the movement of your hips is affecting other places in your body. Noticing your spine, your head, Start to bring a subtle movement of the hands into this. So as you tilt your pelvis back, which means your low back is rounding, uh, gently squeeze your hands into a soft fist. And as you tilt your pelvis forward and you arch your low back, just gently open and spread your hands and your fingers, tilting your pelvis back, closing your fists, tilting your pelvis forward, opening your hands. And just continue rocking your pelvis forward and back and opening and closing your hands. And just relaxing. If you have something underneath your head, you can remove it. We'll tilt the pelvis back, press into the feet, lift the hips up towards the sky, lifting the pelvis away from the floor, and lowering the pelvis back down to the ground. And again, press into the feet, the pelvis tilts back a little bit, and then press the hips, lift the hips up to the sky, let yourself feel weighted down into your shoulders, and hips come back down. And just lift the hips up one more time. And lower the hips back down. And just windshield wipe your legs from side to side slowly. Let your head tilt in the opposite direction of your knees. And really let that rolling of the head feel like a little massage, like cue into where you feel the ground underneath your head. And feel that rolling contact as a little massage for your skull, back of your skull. Moving slowly to stay connected to your body. And then roll all the way over onto your right side. And on your right side, you could lie on your right arm, your head on your arm, or you could place a small pillow underneath your head. You just want your neck to be in line with the rest of your spine. We're just gonna straighten out that left leg and then bend the knee and reach around for the foot or the ankle. Bring the heel towards the glute. Just stretch out. Just stretch out the quads, hip flexors. And just breathe into that quad. And lengthen this leg out. And then reach if it's comfortable, you can reach your left arm up by your ear. So you're just stretching out that whole left side. And then bring the knee back in, bring the arm along back in as well. And then we'll take some slow clamshells, more for the experience of just sensing and feeling the hip and activating these muscles more than like a strength building exercise, although it can build some strength or at least set the foundation for strength building. So we'll keep the ankles together. We'll just slowly lift the knee up. Notice what muscles feel like they're being activated in your hip. And lower the knee down. Keeping your knee together, lift your ankle. Lower your ankle down. And then lift your knee. And as you lift your knee, let your pelvis roll back a little bit. So your pelvis sort of rolls open and almost like an elastic band, it kind of pulls on the knee and then the knee can lift up. And then bring the knee down and let your pelvis sort of roll forward slightly. And then that's like helps lift your foot up. So roll the pelvis back, which helps to externally rotate the hip and lift the knee. And then let your knee come down as your pelvis rolls a little forward, and then that helps to internally rotate by lifting the foot. So feeling this internal and external rotation of your hip. Just keep going. And then just relaxing, breathing into that left hip, just feeling the space around that side of the hip and the pelvis a little bit more awakened. And then place your left hand on the ground in front of your belly. So your elbow is bent, your forearm is kind of pressed up against either your belly or your mid abdomen. And then we'll just lift the shoulder up towards the ear and then draw the shoulder down away from the ear. Lift the shoulder up towards the ear and lower the shoulder down. And just keep going up and down, really tuning in to your shoulder blade, feeling the movement of your shoulder. What does your shoulder feel like? Can you sense your shoulder blade moving up and down? Can you sense the muscles of your side body and your back and all the connective tissue getting affected by the movement of your shoulder? Move your shoulder in a circle. So now you're taking your shoulder a little forward and a little back as well as up and down. Noticing this movement. And then relaxing that. Just taking a breath in and out. And then draw your left knee into your chest. You can bring your hand to the knee. And you're going to start to open the knee out to the side or up to the sky. Knee opens, pelvis starts to open. And then that rolls you onto your back. And then roll over onto your left side this time. Maybe placing a little pillow underneath your head. We're going to straighten out this right leg, parallel with the mat, and then bend the knee, heel towards the glute, reach for the foot, stretching out the quads. Breathing into the quads, breathing into the hip flexors. And then extend this right leg onto the floor, parallel with the mat. You can reach your right arm up by your ear if that's comfortable for your shoulder. And just breathe into this right side. And bring your knee back in, stacking it on top of the bottom knee. And we'll tune in for some clamshells, just starting to feel into the internal and external rotation of your right hip. So you're going to lift your knee up, lower your knee down, lift your ankle up, lower your ankle down. And then as you lift your knee up, feel your pelvis sort of slide back. So your pelvis is opening to allow that external rotation of the knee, of the hip. And then as the knee comes back down, your pelvis rolls slightly forward to help internally rotate as you lift the foot up. So rolling the pelvis back, lifting the knee, letting the knee come down as the pelvis rolls forward, lifting the foot. And just continue. So sometimes in clamshells, it's taught to not move the pelvis. And this is just to really feel that elasticity of the pelvis and how that movement of the pelvis helps to facilitate internal and external rotation of the hip. It's not like our body is a machine where only one part moves and affects itself. It's like the whole system should feel more fluidly connected. And then just relaxing that, having your arm, having your elbow bent, your hand on the ground in front of you, your forearm kind of pressed into your belly or just up against your belly. And then just lift the shoulder up towards the ear. Press the shoulder down away from the ear. Tune in to your shoulder blade. Tune into the long bands of muscles and connective tissue that run down the back and down the side body and up the neck. And notice, if you can, the movement of the shoulder blade creating subtle changes through these lines of muscles and connective tissue in your back and in your side body. and in your neck. And then start to roll your shoulder in a circle, noticing what the movement of the shoulder pulling back and going forward affects. And in the opposite direction, and then relax that and draw your knee into your chest. Hold on to the knee. Start to open the knee, externally rotating at the hip and the pelvis. And as the pelvis opens, that takes your whole body onto your back. And rock side to side. Roll over and come onto your hands and your knees. Into a tabletop position. And as you inhale, just lift your head, lift your tail. Exhale, round your spine. Lift your head and your tail. And round your spine as you exhale. And just continue moving through cat and cow. Feeling the whole motion of your spine. So you've been waking up your hips, waking up the shoulders. Now feeling that connection between hips and shoulders and head, everywhere in between. Start to make some side to side motions. Bring your head and your shoulder and your hip towards each other on one side to stretch out the opposite side. Make a circle, circling your ribs and your hips around. In the opposite direction. And then pressing your hips back towards your heels for a child's pose. Bring your toes together, your knees can be a little wider. If your feet cramp, you could tuck your toes under. Hips press back towards your heels, forehead down to the ground. Breathe deeply in your child's pose. Breathe down into your hips, into your tailbone. And then we'll rise back up into a tabletop, and we'll come into a standing forward fold. So come up onto your feet, bend your knees deeply, especially if your back hurts, and just let your head hang for a moment. Breathe, Nice long exhale in your forward fold. And then rise up into standing. And just feel yourself now in this different position. Just walk in place. Feel your feet on the ground. And then stand and open up your chest. Open up your hands so your palms face forward, your shoulder blades sort of come down your back and towards each other. Let your knees feel soft. Lengthen through the base of your skull. Relax your jaw. Your eyes could be closed or you could have a soft gaze somewhere. And just breathe, noticing yourself here. And once again, repeat that affirmation to yourself, that quality that you're calling in. And in this moment in your body, bringing that quality into your embodied experience. So if your body was to sort of change its position or its tone or its feeling, what would your affirmation feel like or look like in your body? It can be super subtle. We'll release that and just give yourself a little shake it out, bounce, wiggle. You take some exhales out of your mouth or sigh or flutter your lips, making some sound. You make your movements kind of fast, a little sharper. And let your movements slow down and become very kind of gentle and fluid feeling. And let that take you into turning from side to side, twisting. Letting your arms feel really loose. And coming back into standing. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice long stretch. And then exhale, fold forward. You can bend your knees as you come into your forward fold. Let your head relax. Shake your head a little, yes and no. And then we're going to plant the hands on the ground and just step the right knee back. So your left knee is bent. And we'll let the hips sink down. So we're stretching out the front of the right hip. You can stay here if that feels good, or you can bring your hands onto your knee, roll your shoulders back, lift the heart up towards the sky, squeeze your glute muscles a little bit, take a nice big breath in and out. And if you'd like to, for the last breath, you can reach your arms up overhead, take a nice big breath in and out. Bring your hands down to frame your front foot. And you can step your, let's see here. We'll step back into a forward fold so you can tuck your back toe under and just step forward, bending your knees, letting your head release. And then step your left foot back, knee down. Sinking the hips to feel a stretch in the front of your left hip. You can stay here, or you can bring your hands onto the knee. There, roll your shoulders back. You're squeezing your glute muscles to help stabilize your hips. Your chest is open. And for this last breath, if you'd like to, you can reach your arms up overhead, continuing to open up the chest. Bring the hands down. Gently slide your right knee to meet your left knee. Inhale, lift the head and the tail. Exhale, round your spine. And then we'll come into a seat. So you can sit on the floor or you could sit in a chair. Getting comfortable. Roll the shoulders a few times. Make sure if you're sitting, your legs are comfortable, your hips are comfortable, and your spine feels good. And we'll inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Stretch out the wrists a little bit as you draw the heels of the hands down. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, come down. One more time. Bring your right hand down to the ground. Left arm reaches over, side stretch. And up and over to the other side. Making space with the motion and also with your breath. And up to center. Roll your neck in a circle. Going in the opposite direction. And back up into center. Tilt your right ear over towards your right shoulder. So you're stretching out that left side of your neck. Bring your left arm out to your side, palm face forward. Flex your wrist back. Take your arm back until you feel an opening, a stretch in your arm and your shoulder. Relax your jaw. And come back. Gently bring your head up to center. Roll that left shoulder a few times. And then tilt your left ear over towards your left shoulder, stretching out the right side. Bring your right arm out to your side, palm faces forward. Flex your wrist back. And take your arm back until you feel a stretch and opening in the arm and the shoulder. Maybe you feel it in your hand. Breathe deeply. Coming back to center. Head comes up. Roll the right shoulder a few times. Relax the shoulders. Let the head feel like it's just floating lightly on your neck. Relax your jaw. Really feel the shoulders soft. Arms relaxed. Look over your right shoulder gently, turning your head, noticing where you feel a stretch. Slowly turning your head to the left. Moving your head slowly, tilting from side or twisting from side to side a few more times. And then as you're turning your head, notice when the rest of your body wants to turn and allow the rest of your body to turn. So it's like the movement is really initiating from the looking, and then you can allow yourself to twist. And your head comes back to center. Turn to the other side, and as the head turns, the rest of the spine starts to want to turn, the whole body turns, twist. And you're just looking behind you. Super simple, but just noticing the flow of that movement in your body. And releasing that. And then we'll do one more thing for the neck. So we'll draw the chin back. So we're lengthening up to the base of the skull. So you're drawing the chin back. And then take your fingers and place them at your chin. We're going to try to lean the head forward like you're looking at your computer or your phone, but you're going to resist the movement with your hand there. And then release that, and you can lengthen your head back and up even more. And then we'll do that 2 more times. So trying to bring your head into a forward head position, resisting a little bit with your hands. Make sure you're not jutting your jaw. It's your whole head that's moving. And then release, lengthen up. 1 more time. Passing. And release. And then relax that and just let your head release. A little head bobble. Hands back behind you. Open up the chest. Stretch out the chest. Breathe into the chest. And release. And then we'll lie down onto our backs. Bring the right ankle over the left knee. And draw your legs into your chest until you feel stretch in the right hip. Take a few breaths here. Rocking a little side to side if that feels comfortable. And then switching, bringing your feet back down to the ground to cross the left ankle over your right knee. Legs draw into the chest, stretching out the left hip. Sending your breath into your left hip. Maybe rocking a little side to side if that feels good. And then releasing. We'll come into Shavasana. So I would suggest you can take Shavasana with your knees bent in a constructive rest pose, or you could place a bolster underneath your knees. If your neck feels really arched back, then you can put something underneath your head. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, slightly tense all your muscles. So squeeze your face, squeeze your fists, squeeze your glutes, your feet, your belly. And as you exhale, release, relax, wiggle a little bit. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, breathe in, tense, squeeze, and release. Wiggle it out a little bit. And one more time. Inhaling, tensing, just gentle tensing. Don't hurt yourself. And release and wiggle it out. Discharge that tension. We'll just relax into Shavasana, letting the eyes soften, the jaw relaxes. Soften your shoulders and your hands. Soften your belly, your legs. Soften your neck, the base of your skull. Begin to deepen your breath. Expanding your breath out into your limbs. And wiggling or stretching in any way. Rolling up to your side when you're ready. And coming back up into a seat. Keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands over your heart. Take a few deep breaths. And just take a moment to offer yourself and your body some gratitude. Give thanks for your affirmation and your ability to cultivate healing in your own body. Namaste. Thank you both for being here this morning.